So I know that Chris Packham has basically, he's just made a video and he said that, this court case to do with Roger Hallam and the other five for this conspiracy to cause public nuisance. He said the case was a shambles, basically, even though they've been convicted and they're waiting to be sentenced, even though they're going to appeal it, right? I know Trudy Warner's meant to have a Supreme Court case against the Attorney General as well soon. But so I really I want people to understand this, right? Even if, well, it's not actually too complicated, and this whole matter of, so look, if this is the prosecutor, right? If that's the prosecutor, and this is the defendant, and this is the judge, and this here is the jury box with the jury in, right? With the jurors, right? So, look, in the Lord Hanningfield case, right, at Southwark, at the same court, at Southwark Crown Court, right, the defendant was Lord Hanningfield, right, and the judge was Alistair McReef. This is important to understand. In the paper for Hanningfield's parliament privileges, right? Parliamentary privileges of Hanningfield. In the legal claim by Jeremy Johnson, who's now Judge Jeremy Johnson, by the way, has been promoted, right? They said that in the paper, how did Hanningfield get his parliament privileges applied at Southwark, the same court what Christopher Hehir is the judge, right, in this Roger Hallam case, right? In the Hanningfield case with Alistair McReef, right, at the end of the day, the paper, the legal representation said quite simply that the prosecutor, right, might, right, in his line of questioning and in his words and material, he might go on to matters, right, subject matters. He might go into subject matters which are to do with Parliament, right? He might do in his questioning or in the proceedings, might go on to matters of what is something that Parliament are to decide or deal with, right? And that is how Hanningfield's Parliament privilege was applied, right? Decided by Alistair McReef. Now, it didn't actually really matter if it was the prosecutor or anyone who strayed onto matters reserved for Parliament in that paper, because it's the fact that they were straying into matters which fell under Parliament, right? Now, if you use this exact same model at the exact same court, right, and here, instead of Lord Hanningfield, you've got Roger Hallam and a prosecutor, and here is Christopher Hehir, right, and a jury, right? Hallam is and was doing actions or activities for a political campaign to Parliament, whether it's Just Stop Oil or Extinction Rebellion, right? No matter what they were planning to do in putting their signs and banners and materials, right? It is a political action to Parliament. And in the Thomas Erskine May book, which Jeremy Johnson cites in his paper and Parliament publish and use themselves, in that book, it clearly, explicitly confirms without a doubt that people petitioning Parliament with a cause or case get privileges of Parliament. They're covered by privileges of Parliament for that cause and case. Now, when they're prosecuting Hallam for conspiracy to cause a public nuisance, right, the prosecutor is going to want to question him, right, about the planning and plotting of it, right? Now, Hallam himself is talking about the environmental cause, the environmental catastrophe, the environmental subject matter, which he says that's his defence, which is the matter that he's addressing to Parliament. He wants Parliament to sort this problem out, which is the entire point of all the campaign, right? Now, when he goes on to that subject matter, right, they're straying into matters that only Parliament can decide. Only Parliament can get the law changed or make new laws regarding the environment, right? So it's actually Hallam himself who is going on to matters that are actually reserved for Parliament to decide and judge, because that is the actions and activities which he was representing in his actions. But it's not the prosecutor. The prosecutor doesn't want to go on to those matters, but he's been going on to them. So rather than the prosecutor taking proceedings into matters of Parliament, actually Hallam has done, right? Why? Because that's the point. They were engaging in and planning actions, representations of a cause that they're addressing to Parliament, which is covered by Parliament privileges. So Hallam himself is actually confirming and invoking parliamentary privilege in the exact same way that under Jeremy Johnson KC's model, the prosecutor may have strayed into, which is what applied the privilege under that model. And if that model is wrong, it can't be wrong in that court, because Alistair McReeve said that it's right up to this point. So how can Christopher Hehir say that that model is wrong or doesn't apply when Alistair McReeve said that it does in the same court under the exact same basis? Unless you're saying that Thomas Erskine May is lying, yet Parliament use that book themselves and publish it on their website. So Christopher Hehir is actually surely he's in contempt of court, because that model has already been proved in that court. And Hallam, under that model, has the exact same privileges as Hanningfield. So, I don't know what Hehir's playing at. And also, for things like harassment, we know from the Ed Miliband adverts, which are mocking Ed Miliband, that political campaigns aren't capable of causing a harassment against someone because of privileges. So they can't cause a public nuisance. Also, you can't be extradited on the basis of your political opinions because it's bad. So they can't be capable of causing a nuisance to people under public nuisance because the effects of the signs, letters, words spoken and actions done, you don't have a right to represent to the public if it's capable of causing a nuisance. Otherwise, you can't do it, but you can. This is a problem. And if Hehir's got a problem with that, then maybe he should refer the case to the Supreme Court, like with Trudy Warner.